why was Cockpit 3D created, and how did you come up with the idea?
Well, if we take it back, originally the business concept was taking people's images and lasering them inside crystal.
Okay.
And when someone provided a photo, back at that moment, there was no social media. So essentially, we were getting hard copy photos that were being developed from film, those Kodak rolls, those Fuji rolls. And we would take those images and we would create point clouds and laser them inside crystal as flat images inside. And the real cool factor happened when we started taking our developed 3D scanners and physically had people sitting in front of those scanners generating live 3D data.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And then taking that data, converting that data into a point cloud, and lasering it into crystal. And all of a sudden, it causes news. We have media outlets, we've got magazines, we have radio and TV shows, all interested in this phenomenon of having their 3D family floating and suspended in the middle of optic crystal.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, it's one thing to be doing it from a passion point of view, which is how this all started. But it's another when you're trying to develop a business and you see that there's a blocker, there's a roadblock. And the roadblock is that while people love the product and the effect, they are restricted to having to sit in front of a camera. So if they want to get an image that they already love of their wedding day, or of their children at a particular moment, or maybe they want to give it as a gift to someone, they're not able to very easily arrange to bring the people in to get scanned.
Yeah.
I remember the days where I would take these scanners out to as many locations as I could in the malls and just showcase the product and try and pre-arrange meetings for people to come in and get their scan done. But you're limited for penetrating your market share. So that's why Cockpit 3D was created, was that we wanted a way where we could take any flat image that was provided and generate 3D the way that we did with the cameras, but without needing the people there.
Yeah.
To achieve 3D, we ended up assembling a team of 2 of us, and then 3 of us, and then 4, and then 5. And it was a team of artists back home.
Okay.
Where, they would now model these images, these flat photos.
Like the human person.
Yeah, exactly. And this became more of I'd say a mix between a business cause and a social cause. Because now you have artists in villages, younger than even yourself.
Oh, wow.
That are learning a new skill of modeling to 3D in order to put food on their table for not just themselves, but their parents in the most remote villages of where my grandparents, great-grandparents, great-great-grandparents would have called home.
Amazing, amazing.
Okay?
Yeah.
And so now what happens is that you end up with these photos being uploaded from different laser companies that now are asking to use our software. And these artists are now having an amazing opportunity to model the flat images to 3D and submit them back to the server.
Okay.
So that the store in Dubai, the store in the UK, the store along the strip in Vegas can download a 3D image within a few hours after having it modeled and burn this 3D image using Cockpit 3D on any of the laser machines that they might be running. And that's how it developed.
Oh, wow. That's beautiful. That's amazing. Lovely story. So the second question I was about to ask you, like, as you mentioned, like you started very young age. So how has Cockpit 3D changed over the years? Like, what was the journey?
You know, we believe in ongoing innovation. And it's not just for the sake of innovating. It's because we see a need or we see an opportunity or we see an area of excitement that we want to explore. We might fail in that area, but it's worth pursuing because it seems like an area that's exciting and that we have enough curiosity for. And failure is not a bad thing. For anyone watching this, whether it's, you know, people that are running their own business, whether it's subsurface engravers, whether it's my students. I say that if you're always winning and you're never losing, then you're not taking enough risk. There's got to, at the end of the year, I'll always kind of sit down with the team and I'll take a look to see, first and foremost, where did we fail? Because that tells me that we're taking the risks that we need to in order to progress, right? So what ended up happening was that we had this issue, this challenge, which is a very healthy challenge. It's a good problem to have. And that was that no matter how many artists we had modeling these images to 3D, around December the 10th, December the 11th, at most December the 12th, we would have to just tell anybody that has had a laser around the world that we've hit a cutoff and that we cannot model any more 3D conversions within 24 hours. So we would need 2 days or 3 days or 4 days in order to get their files back. And of course, you're talking the busiest week of the year. Essentially, what ends up happening here is that we're unable to fulfill the desire and the demand of the consumer who's seeking our product, whether it's directly from our website, 3dcrystal.com, or whether it's from any of the companies that were supported. Because we couldn't fulfill their 3D. Because it doesn't matter how many artists you have, if an artist is going to take a few hours for every photo, how many photos can they do in a day? Multiply that by, at our peak, we had, you know, about 200 to 220 artists. And come January, when the season is lower, you don't need 220 artists to fulfill orders. So how do you kind of play this game? And this was back, you know, in the day before anybody even was using the buzzword AI. And we were already reading up on machine learning, and we had incredible data sets. And so these data sets came from all the scans that we would take with our camera. I'm talking millions of scans of people, of pets, of objects, of architecture, of vehicles, animals, like, I mean, anything. And so we started saying, okay, how do we facilitate the artists to be able to do their job that much faster? And so we engaged in ML and we created what was the first, you know, auto conversion of a flat image to 3D for subsurface laser engraving. Let me actually parallel this. It was the equivalent of giving a renovator who's using a screwdriver a power drill.
Makes sense.
How quick now they can get their job done. And this was the first integration of auto conversions. And of course, the benefit, and by the way, we're always asked what happened to the artists.
Yeah, you said about 200 artists working there.
And I also said that it wasn't just a business purpose. There's a social cause here. When people are doing business with Cockpit 3D, what perhaps they don't realize until they start watching our YouTube videos, until they start understanding who the team is behind and what our philosophies are, do they only then realize that very much integrated into our cause is the social side. And so till today, it is imperative that the artists retain their jobs. In fact, it's the artists that continue to make Cockpit 3D better. Because as people would have probably noticed by now, as now new conversion systems come to surface, the quality of what they're outputting, this doesn't come from my mouth. This comes from the feedback that we get from the marketplace.
Mm-hmm.
The quality that they're outputting is subpar. And the reason for that is because it's all based on data and ongoing tweaks. And this is what we live and breathe. And this is what the artists are consistently pumping in to what's coming out. They're tweaking and then they're resubmitting. And so it's consistently training the system to get better and better and better, such that the first conversion that perhaps I would have done of your face, you know, the eyeglasses might have been inside your face because it gets confused. And so the artist sees that. They open up the mesh. They take the glasses, they move them forward, they finish off any part of the glasses that were not constructed in the mesh correctly, and they resubmit that into the pipeline. And so now what's happening is that the system is understanding, oh, so this was the original photo, this is what I created from it, and this was the rectification. And it says, okay, now I'm learning. ML, machine
learning.
Okay.
Machine learning, yeah.
And so now all of a sudden, we're able to, and so those artists are very much, in fact, now we've increased the input coming from the artists in order to provide not only super accurate, but quick conversions, so that even if it's, December the 24th, close to midnight, someone with a laser is able to submit their photo, get their 3D conversion in minutes, and provide the crystal to the customer.
Amazing, amazing. That was so beautiful journey. I just wanted to ask, is it only for the your laser owners, or anybody who is owning any other brands of lasers and they can use the Cockpit 3D as well?
Cockpit 3D from day one has been laser agnostic.
Okay.
So it doesn't matter if they have a laser that has been designed by us under the 3dlaserbox series. Most people now these days are really into the jetmini. Or whether it is another green beam laser, or whether it is a UV laser for that matter. It can be any laser, and we're able to provide them. I want to clarify, I created the machines that we created because we needed them for our own purposes, just like Cockpit 3D. It was created for our own purposes, but as the demand came from the market, and because we believe in collaboration over competition, okay, I believe that when the tide comes in, all boats should rise. And so as people had a need for it, we provided. Same with the lasers, was we created these lasers because we had a need for a multi-mode laser at one point, and then a large table laser at another point, and now a portable laser for my family. In fact, it was created inspired by my wife and my kids so that they could go out to festivals and fairs and shows and use it. And as they do that, people say, hey, I want to get into the business. How much is that machine? And really, the machine lends itself to an ecosystem of people then relying on us for, the 3D conversions, which facilitates the villas that we have for all the artists. It facilitates ongoing innovation and development by a company. Literally, we're not backed or financed by huge VCs. We bootstrap this whole thing, and over here there's a couple dozen in our team that know most people that are using our software by first name, right?
Yeah.
So we do this because we're passionate about it. It's a labor of love. But at the same time, as we do get support for people that are relying on our technology to help their businesses by way of subscriptions or purchasing of credits for conversions, it all goes back into innovation and facilitating the entire ecosystem to grow.
Okay. So as you said, you designed the software and laser for your own purpose, and then later on, as the demands comes in, then you started expanding the softwares to the other laser owners as well. So when did you first release the Cockpit 3D software for the UV laser owners?
That's an interesting story. You want the play-by-play on that one?
Yeah.
Well, okay, here's exactly how it went down. This is what happened. So we're talking 6 weeks ago.
Okay.
6 weeks ago, I got multiple phone calls from YouTube influencers.
Okay.
And these are people that have a minimum of 100,000 subscribers. Okay. They're really accomplished YouTubers in the engraving world.
Mm-hmm.
And so they reached out and said, listen, we've got delivery of our UV system from the UV laser manufacturer. And there is a bit of a challenge that we're facing. The challenge is that while we're able to engrave inside crystal, the engravings that we're seeing are nothing like what we're seeing on 3dcrystal.com. How can we create what you're creating?
Mm-hmm.
And when they showed me photos and videos of what they were creating, I realized that what had happened here was that the laser manufacturers were very good at creating hardware. But unless you're actually involved in producing and selling the product, only then do you realize how much work goes into creating a good quality point cloud for subsurface engraving. And this was a missing piece. So we dropped everything. I'm talking about, listen, 6 weeks ago, you're talking about mid-December.
December,
time where you're
last
getting,
year. Yeah,
Yeah,
December
and-
2025.
Yeah, 2025. So, just for context, like for people that don't realize, we're pushing out thousands of orders in every 12-hour cycle. Okay? So we are super busy at that moment in time. And I'm being requested that, please, can you do something for us, as well as for all those people that are going to be receiving their lasers very shortly. And so we drop the programming projects that we have happening at that moment in time, and we just pivot into outputting a file format within Cockpit 3D that would help UV laser owners use their machines to create good quality crystal so that they don't feel disheartened. Otherwise, there'd be a backlash to the manufacturers of those companies that are making these lasers, that I bought your machine primarily because I was excited about the whole new concept of burning inside crystal, and I'm not able to produce anything that looks like me or my family or my pet. So we released, that was step one, was kind of getting it out to the YouTube influencers who were able to then successfully create good quality. And it was great to see that they were so super excited by seeing what was being created by their laser, all same hardware, but just a few days ago it wasn't able to, and now because of Cockpit 3D it's able to create good quality. So now the question becomes, okay, how much?
Yeah.
And the main goal here was not to capitalize. That wasn't the immediate thing that went through our minds. Our mind was, look, my effort, every time I wake up in the morning, I get up to play, I get up to roll the dice, I get up to win. And when I say win, what is winning for me? Winning means growing awareness of subsurface engraving. That's what my goal is. You build market share by building awareness, by building attention. And now you've got all this attention, and either people are going to completely get frustrated with the concept of subsurface engraving, or they're going to be excited by it. It's one or the other. And the missing piece here is Cockpit 3D.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't even about monetizing at that moment in time. At that moment in time, it was about, okay, Santa is going to deliver all these lasers in a few days from now.
Mm-hmm.
And they're all going to be at home for the holidays, many of them with their kids. Wouldn't it be amazing if they could utilize their lasers to create good projects, etc.? Now, when we're selling licenses to the software to people that are running a business,
Mm-hmm.
it's a different story. Over here, they're just getting their feet wet. How do you manage that? On one hand, we have people that are paying for the license on the software. And on the other hand, you've got those that are not even knowing about how they're going to use this technology or this product to generate revenue. And they need something to close the gap. So unprecedented, what we did was we created a trial, and we enabled them till today. Okay, so you're talking 6 weeks later and counting still. Now I've sent out a statement that continue enjoying it at least until Valentine's Day. And not only that, we're not going to terminate licenses. We're going to give enough notice so that they have a chance to look for other solutions. In fact, my expectation is that the laser companies who sold thousands of these lasers around the world are going to do justice to the customers of theirs and offer within their own ecosystem, the better quality conversion. So at least they can be happy with their lasers. And then should they wish, and I would be so grateful, I would be honored if they would, sign up to a subscription for Cockpit 3D, that would be fantastic. But the first goal was not capitalization. It was, to provide them with a solution that was going to be an intermediary. We'll be happy with those that do, but at the same time, there will be options. I can tell them that for sure. There's going to be options out there that they'll be able to turn to, should they wish to.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's why I like the tagline. Competition is healthy, but collaboration is healthier. That is well said. Yeah, true.
100%. I mean, there's so much that it's not just the conversion. There's so many things that go into what we're providing that unless you were in the business 2 years ago, you wouldn't even realize the asset, the value of it. Number one is the accuracy of the conversion. That's what everybody is seeing, is that when they send in a photo, they're getting a 3D where it looks accurate. That comes from ML, okay? And the ongoing tweaks from the over 200 artists that are live, going in, adjusting, seeing what came out better, what came out worse, and training. Okay. Then there's the preview. I mean, it's a big task to being able to offer someone the ability to see in almost true format what this 3D file is going to look like in Crystal before you've even burned it. That's the preview, in the Cockpit FastPass system when they click on. That itself is a huge asset to see that and rotate it. And many times people use it to even show their customers or take snapshots to show the customer to help close the deal. Huge asset over there. And then you've got the point cloud creation and all of the thinking power that has gone into the software to create a dense, high quality point cloud that can be burned in a smart way. And now, because of Cockpit 3D's algorithm and the way it sorts and resorts and rasterizes that, it's creating an amazing opportunity for them to generate not only what they're seeing on the screen as being good, but accurately, true to form in the crystal that they can with pride give to their customers.
Amazing. Very well said. Is there any particular kind of raw materials we require for the Cockpit 3D or any other crystal we can also use it?
Good question. So green beams are more forgiving. So with the green beam laser, they're able to penetrate with their power. And sometimes, they will be able to burn in a crystal that's flawed better than a UV laser. A UV laser is, what I'm observing, is more sensitive to the flawless nature of the crystal. And you know how when we were young, my parents, I'm sure your parents, would have said, always do your best. Always do your best. Don't, ever deliver something that you yourself wouldn't want. I spent months in the factory just making sure. This was back in the day when I was first using an intermediary. Okay, you guys don't know this story. So this is when I was using an intermediary and I was ordering the raw material from him. And he would speak English, living in China. And he would go to the factory and get the slabs cut
Okay.
and ship me the crystal. These are back, you're talking over 20 years ago. Okay, nobody knew what K9 was. Nobody knew what SSLE was. You know, it was all brand new. And I'm seeing the crystals come in, and I'm like, there's a lot that can be done with the quality of what I'm seeing here. The inconsistencies, the aesthetics, you know. So I told him, I said, look, you're young, my age, mid-20s at that time, and you know the business. What if I invest? I'll invest in the equipment, in the venue, in the staff, and I'll also come down, and together let's create our own slab cutting factory. And this is a dream for, you know, someone in their mid-20s in China hustling it out. And it was a dream. And I said, we're going to make it real. Let's do it. Because not only am I going to order crystal for my own purposes, but we will offer this to others, competitors, people that have their own lasers in their own cities or countries. Let's provide them the best quality crystal. And so we went and we cut the slabs and we paid attention to every detail. So first and foremost was optical clarity. You know, like when you go to the supermarket, for those of you that when you're shopping, right? You'll go to, you know, one grocery, you'll see the apples are red. But when you go to the other grocery store, the apples are red and shiny. And when you go to the third one, they're red, they're shiny, and they're larger. Grade C, grade B, and grade
A.
Grade A.
Grade A.
So it's the same thing in the optocrystal world. Is that we made sure that, you know, grade A quality. So when we're doing the QC on every crystal and shining the light, as many people now are enjoying their, you know, their little torch lights to see what's good K9 and what's not. Every single item before, and the ones that aren't good, put it to the side. It's not used. And then it came to the next level. What's the difference between keeping the sharp edge, which is default, or grinding every edge on the rotator that we have there by hand? And the elegance of that facet, of that bevel, it looked beautiful. And not only that, was that it's actually less prone to cracking. You do realize, when you don't have that sharp edge, it's less likely to crack when you've got the facet or the bevel. And then the boxes, and figuring out the packaging so that it's all about the unboxing experience. Because when my wife gifted me with the Beats headset back at that time, I remember I enjoyed the packaging and unboxing it so much. Till today, I don't know where that headset is, but I still have the box, you know? So the box is so important. So everything, the whole package. And so when you're asking about, you know, different, yes, you can buy it from anywhere, but the advantages in buying it from Cockpit 3D are that we are the users of this. So unbranded boxes, so anybody can use it. It's not branding our company, but we use this crystal forward. So when the first question came in, how come we're not able to produce crystals like what we see on 3dcrystal.com? Here's the formula. Here's the software. Here's the raw material. And here's the lasers as well, if you're interested. And by the way, when people do purchase the raw material from us, we're rewarding them as well. We give them credits. So it helps the cost of their 3D conversion. And so, yeah, I think there's definitely a difference in ordering from us, but their lasers will work many times with other crystal as well. It's just a bit of a risk as far as what percentage of what you're getting from other places is actually going to work, especially with the more sensitive UV laser.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds good. Last but not the least, as you mentioned, you are providing the free trial for the Cockpit 3D right now until Valentine week. So would it be the free trial extended, or you're gonna charge for it? And if so, how much would it be?
So pricing, we're working on. As far as the trial is concerned, definitely people don't have to worry about any sort of a subscription cost up until Valentine's Day. And even after Valentine's, when we are ready to announce a subscription, we're going to give enough time. There's going to be enough lead time for them to, switch over to whatever other service they may want to switch to. And our costing structure is going to be looking like, I'll give you a broad idea of the costing structure. The immediate, there's a lot of things that have to happen here. A lot of programming, a lot of things on the licensing server, etc. So the way we're doing it is the current Cockpit 3D that everybody is using is the premium version. That's the one that all the green beam laser owners that are making anywhere from $100K to over $1 million a year with their machine are using, okay? So it's the premium version that they have. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna offer that at a monthly subscription so that they don't have an upfront, sudden, huge charge. So at least it's manageable, okay, on a monthly subscription. Now, that's the first step. And by the way, people say, well, if I'm paying for the software, do I have to pay for the 3D conversion? So the response to that is that you can utilize the software without getting any 3D done. Many people use the software to create 2D HD point clouds because of the very, very smart multi-layer point cloud system that we've built into Cockpit 3D. In fact, some of the feedback I'm getting from the team is they're reading that people are enjoying the 2D that they're creating from Cockpit 3D. So do they need to get 3D? No. They can utilize Cockpit 3D for templating, perhaps corporate awards. They can do their templates on it. They can do their 2D. They can do their text. All of that is available within Cockpit 3D without the 3D component. Should they want our high quality 3D that we incur expenses to develop, ongoing, then there's a very, very fair conversion pricing grid that we've already, placed out there. There might be a few tweaks here and there on certain pricing areas, but everything is going to be very, very fair. And they'll be able to order 3D if that's what they wish. So there's going to be two. Now, in the future, for those people that say, look, I want 3D, but I don't need the premium version of Cockpit. I think I use half of the tools that are in Cockpit. So for that person that says that, then we will have a lighter version. And that lighter version will be a web-based version. And that web-based version will speak to all of those Mac users that haven't been able to install Cockpit 3D on their Mac system without using Parallels. Okay, but that again is a lot of investment in terms of development time. There's costs associated to that. And we're doing it because of this request that's coming in. So we want to fulfill that request. But I think it also remains to be seen, that's going to happen in the back half. Okay, so it's not going to happen right now. So right now it's going to be a premium version, but available on a monthly subscription. So they don't have to fork out a huge amount up front. But the light version is our intent. But we really need to see how many people are adapting, because when we come out with the subscription and we also come out with alternatives to let them know that, look, your laser manufacturer will have already improved the quality for their customers, or there's these other, pop-ups that have come up that are also available. We have to see how many of them are going to rely on those and how many are going to be true to faith, loyal, and excited about being a part of the premium brand and technology offering of Cockpit 3D. What's my job? My job is to be 2 years, sometimes 3 years in the future. So what we have coming to Cockpit 3D is going to be not only are they going to enjoy what they currently have immediately, but what we consistently are going to be rolling out is going to be a whole other world. And we need to see the adoption rate and, if they're enjoying it. But I think it's so important for any leader of any company really to be listening to the market. I have to really appreciate the entire team, the programming team, the way that they just switched and dialed it up just before the holiday season. You each know who you are to be able to offer this. The team that while everybody was counting down 2025 into 2026 at midnight on December the 31st, our team were out there just trying to set up all these registrations because our system wasn't built for that kind of instant requirement of creating all these licenses and all these parts to what we do at no cost as well. I hope that those that are using Cockpit 3D will continue to do so for the future.
Very well explained. Any last advice that you would like to give to our viewers?
I would just say that we're honored. There's nothing more exciting than when you create something out of passion, you have an audience for it and an audience interested in it. And beyond that, so many of you who didn't know who we were, but engaged and just unbeknown to us started to post on YouTube and on social media and sharing all your experiences, stepping in to help others understand the software and how to use it with their lasers. Man, it's such a breath of fresh air. What an incredible group, honestly. I want to thank you, and I hope that I have a chance to, if not speak to you, perhaps on Zoom, at least one day, hopefully, to meet you at a trade event and shake your hands.